Hi, my name is Jessica Kai Parsons. This is my nursing transcultural presentation. This is based off the Hindu culture, and today is August 8, 2014. So the introduction here is this is a multimedia presentation addressing Hindu American culture and belief system. In order for nurses to provide cultural competent care, the nurses need to be aware of the common cultural practices, values, and rituals. The purpose of this presentation is not only just for nurses, but to become more culturally informed on Hindu culture. So we'll go over some of their core values, which is respect, love, honor, and modesty. And this is not only just important for nurses, but it's our goal to be advocates for our patients to raise awareness and understanding of the Hindu religious and cultural practices to improve care. So Hindu belief. Hindus, according to the Hindu way of life, the Hindu culture is a culture of love, respect, honoring others, and humbling one's own ego from the inner nature in which it's naturally pure and modest. Hinduism is the world's oldest extinct religion with billions of followers. It is one of the third largest religions. It is a conglomeration between religious, philosophical, and cultural ideas and practices that originated from India. Some of their common beliefs is belief in reincarnation, one absolute being multiple manifestations, law of cause and effect, following the path of righteousness, and the desire of liberation from cycles of birth and death. So, in Hindu culture, health is defined as a continued maintenance of the best possible working of the human body under normal circumstances, and even at abnormal environmental conditions. Hindu religious teaching on healthy living and ethical considerations can illuminate into spiritual objectives in which illustrated and injunctions contain these systems are followed, which are for like preventive care or maintenance care. Also, when you're dealing with critical care, anything that's maintaining life and keeping the body here or soul here longer is usually prevented. Good health is a religious duty, so it corresponds to abundance of Hindu scripture. Nursing across the lifespan. So when we're dealing with childbearing women and their families, it's important to know with a woman bearing a child that they do a purification process of the womb. Same thing with death. You have 3 phases. So the same kind of thing with birth. It's you have purification, you have the welcome back, and then you have a ceremony for naming. Reproduction is considered a privilege, and if a person is infertile, that is definitely unfortunate for the family. After birth, they do a ceremony where they use sugar, gahi, which is unfactory butter, and herbs. An important thing for nursing is to remember to educate these families on infant botulism due to honey. And there's this naming ceremony that takes place on the 10th day related to horoscopes and syllables that correspond. Children 0 to 17 years of age. Children are gifts, and karma creates himself through his children. And this is what we're talking about with karma. Families without children face scrutiny. Male children are definitely favored, and females are considered financially draining, and they definitely condemn contraception because they want you to reproduce. Children are thought to be moldable and taught discipline. I found this resource that I thought was a great resource. Hold on, I'll pull it up right here. This corresponds with thinking that children and young adults are moldable and able to be taught. Here's some different things, such in pray. This goes into talking about like Namaskar at top here. talks about how to greet another person as a friend, how to pay respect. And as we already spoke about, that respect and honesty and love is all the same core values. So this is just a wonderful resource that has plenty of information. I attached the link in this presentation if anyone wants to look it up as well. But it goes in and talks about how the prey takes, what you should say, and as we see, love, respect are key words that are used here. So Hindu adults 18 to 64 years of age, marriage is a priority, so is family. So they want to reproduce. At Hindu weddings, the bride and bridegroom represent the god and goddesses. Although there is a parallel tradition, they see this as the groom as a prince going to wed his princess. So this is a big event. From what the interviews and stuff I've talked to Hindu individuals, for girls, that's a priority from when they're little. Also, Hindu culture has a caste system, so you try to marry on the same level as you. You don't want to marry outside your culture either. So this is important to think about as becoming an adult and aging. So as we talk into your later years of, say, 64, because this is a range from 18 to 64, you're thinking about death. And, death can occur at any time, but we're thinking about more of our elderly, thinking that after death of a family member, the relatives become involved in ceremonies and preparation of the body. And as I told you earlier, with birth there was 3 phases, at death there's 3 phases. This would make sense only because they think of the rebirthing process, so this is all a cycle, almost a celebration for birth and death. That comes to the 3 phases, the purification, the viewing, and cremation. Consideration with the Hindu older adult. So with Hindu older adult, respect for elders is a keystone of Hindu culture. So, of course, the elderly are put kind of up on a pedestal. They have a genuine acknowledgement of seniority. It's demonstrated through their enduring customs, such as sitting to the left of elders, bringing gifts on special occasions, not sitting while they are standing, not speaking excessively, seeking their advice and blessings, giving them the first choice of all matters, and even serving them food first. So this just tells you how much the elderly is important in this culture. Dealing with communities, Hinduism is as I mentioned earlier, the oldest religion. It's about 900 million adherents, 780 million of them are in India, and 79% of the country's population. And do you think, and how realistic this is when we're giving nursing care, that 2 million individuals from the Hindu culture are in the United States? Talking about communities in the Hindu culture, we talked a little bit briefly about a caste system. There's 4 social and religious categories. So, and you can see here is the Brahmin. I can't really pronounce that, but the Kshatrya, Kasha, and Shudra is which the people are placed according to their birth. So this says, like, for the first class, the priest, the warriors, the merchants, and the peasants. All these are based on their caste system. And I remember we were saying about with the caste system and marriage that you really want to marry on your caste level. So in summary, Hindu culture is unique and different than most cultures. Although we can draw similarities to maybe our common culture that we all share, but one thing is take into consideration when providing care to these patients. It is important to take in expectations across the lifespan. So as we're saying, like the roles of the son or the elderly, or where even the women fall in this, all these are taken into consideration when delivering care to these patients. Taking into care of rituals, beliefs, values, all these are important areas when providing holistic quality care. Healthcare system is seeing many changes, so it's important to not only just Hindu culture, but all cultures to receive culturally competent care. So some fun facts for nurses. Hindus prefer a shower rather than a bath. Body and hair is particularly important to Hindu women. They might not even cut their hair. They won't cut their hair unless they ask their husbands. So they might refuse. Food needs to be purified. If it's not made up to their cultural standard, then they won't eat it. They also use herbal and changes in diet and habits and thoughts to overcome an imbalance. So they think there's three bodily humors, such as wind, bile, and the phlegm. So they might use some of these herbal supplements. So it's important for nurses to understand and know that that might be something that they're taking. It might be a good question to ask when dealing with their home medication. They are very modest. Um, Elderly are definitely, we had talked about putting them on a pedestal and that they make a lot of decisions for the family. So it is important to note that maybe when making medical decisions for a younger individual of the family, the elderly will be present. Absolutely no abortion, and females will more likely not ever undress with a male doctor unless her husband is present. And these belief systems begin with the assumption that all living things have a soul, so and then passive, and they continue through the cycle, which we talked about. I included some references, or all my references actually.